Welcome to the fourth video in my Attack on Titan arc analysis series, and in this video I'll be covering the female Titan arc. This arc encompasses several pivotal events that occur within the story, the first being the military trial of Eren Yeager, and next being the Survey Corps' 57th expedition beyond the walls, and lastly the assault on the Stohes district. The female Titan arc brings us one step closer to learning the truth about the Titans, as we discover that it is not only Eren Yeager who possesses the ability to control a Titan. After the appearance and the identity reveal of the female Titan, we can assume that the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan are two being controlled by humans. The female Titan arc encompasses the second half of the first season of the Attack on Titan anime. A lot takes place during this arc, and I'm really looking forward to analysing and breaking down each of the story beats that occur. So let's begin my analysis of the female Titan arc. The female Titan arc takes place between episodes 14 to 25 of the anime and chapters 19 to 34 of the manga. It picks up from where the third arc of the story leaves off, as after Eren makes use of his Titan form by plugging the hole in the Trost district, a division begins to form between the residents of Wall Shina and Wall Rose. This divisiveness highlights the internal politics between those who reside within the interior and exterior walls. Eren is heralded as a hero by the residents of Wall Rose, as he was able to prevent it meeting the same fate as Wall Maria, while the residents of Wall Shina doubt the news of a Titan being on their side and helping humanity. This contrast between the residents of the interior and exterior walls shows the class difference which exists between the two regions. I think it is interesting to pay attention to this difference, which is briefly mentioned here, as it is further emphasized in later portions of the story. The residents of Wall Rose are more hopeful and accepting of Eren and his Titan form, while the residents of Wall Shina, who typically are the last to get the news of any goings-on related to the Titans, are confused and skeptical. They live in constant fear of the day that Wall Rose is breached, as that would mean that the last layer of added protection between themselves and the Titans is removed. They fear the day the interior wall becomes the exterior wall. This makes them skeptical of any information they hear from the government or the monarchs, as it would be in the best interest of the government to not stir up mass panic by revealing to the population of Wall Shina that they no longer are privileged with any additional safety by residing within the interior. The interior is also fearful of the thought of an influx of people from Wall Rose, who would end up migrating into the interior in the event of a breach. Juxtaposed to this, the residents of the exterior believe that they have a fighting chance now thanks to Eren. They may finally be able to reclaim Wall Maria now. The anime does an excellent job of contrasting the dynamic between the two regions, as in chapter 19 we are only shown the response of the interior wall, before we cut to the imprisonment and trial of Eren Yeager. Eren was imprisoned for days, during which time he was referred to as a monster, as he has become the very thing that he wishes to eradicate. He doesn't understand how he was able to transform into a Titan, but does understand the reaction of others who referred to him as a monster. Eren can see the danger that he may pose to others, since he has no idea of the full scope of his Titan powers. Despite all of these changes, Mikasa and Armin had not treated him any differently, and were certainly not afraid of him. After being imprisoned for days, he is brought to a military tribunal, which will determine his fate. He is told about the general consensus of the public regarding his ability to transform into a Titan, which was emphasized earlier through the differing reactions between the interior and exterior walls. During this trial, the fate of Eren will be determined by which branch of the military will take responsibility over him. Either the military police, who want to examine and dispose of his body, or the Survey Corps, who want to utilize Eren's powers in an attempt to reclaim Wall Maria. During Eren's trial, individuals from several groups are present. Each of them represent the individual concerns that they have in relation to Eren's new abilities. During this courtroom drama, we see the ignorance of the rich merchants who are only concerned about their own well-being, oblivious to the sacrifices made by the Survey Corps who are fighting for the greater collective. We are also shown the religious fanatics from the Order of the Walls, who believe that the walls were created and gifted to us by a higher power. Protecting and worshipping the walls forms the core of their beliefs. The different groups are all putting their own best interests first before considering what is best for humanity. They are ignoring the fact that it is the Survey Corps who are willing to put their lives on the line. After all, most of these merchants or religious heretics have never even seen a Titan in the flesh. The military police question Eren's humanity, taking into account the incident from his childhood where he murdered 3 robbers to protect Mikasa, or how he had attacked Mikasa while he was in his Titan form. After an outburst, Eren silences them by telling them to put their trust in him. Immediately after this, Levi demonstrates in the courtroom that he has the skill to subdue the supposedly dangerous Eren by kicking him into submission. We can assume that this gives some confidence to the others, as if Eren is under the care of Levi, then he can be easily punished or killed killed by the skillful commander. The trial concludes with Eren being placed under the care of the Survey Corps, and he is assigned to be supervised by Captain Levi. However, if he proves to not be a useful ally to humanity, then he may return to be questioned once again. Eren has to prove himself to not be the monster that some have branded him as, considering he has been given this opportunity to prove his worth through being part of the Survey Corps and taking part in the upcoming 57th scouting mission. Eren ends up becoming the responsibility of the cold and unwelcoming Levi. Through this narrative decision, we are introduced to Levi's hand-picked selection of elite soldiers, dubbed the Special Operations Squad. It is a nice introduction to a group of soldiers that Levi is not entirely inhospitable towards. Through his elite squad, that is also referred to as Squad Levi, we get some much needed grounding for Levi's character, humanizing him from this perception of callousness that he all too often exudes. A beloved segment from this portion of the story is seeing Levi and the others cleaning up the old headquarters of the Survey Corps. During this part of Attack on Titan, we get to learn about Eren's thoughts of Levi. While he speaks to Petra, a member of Squad Levi, she tells him that Levi isn't the perfect hero that people make him out to be. Firstly, he lacks the height to fit the stereotypical image of a hero. In addition to this, the real Levi is easily agitated and frankly unapproachable, a far cry from the heroic image one may conjure up from admiring his feats from afar. But Eren is not surprised by any of these aspects of his character, but rather his willingness to be obedient to his higher chain of command, which ends up being indicative of the loyalty and respect that Levi has for the commander of the Survey Corps, Erwin. And this is proven to be true as Petra reveals that Levi had joined the Survey Corps thanks to Erwin, who had saved him from a world of crime that he was heavily involved in. This is a very insightful conversation about one of the most mysterious yet beloved characters to be featured within Attack on Titan. Conversations like this place importance upon making Levi slightly more relatable, as opposed to being this flawless soldier that everybody should aspire to emulate. Once the cleaning and refurbishing of the old Survey Corps base is completed, we are introduced to the eccentric Hanji Zo, who unfortunately gives Eren a lengthy exposition dump on the experiments that she had conducted on two captured titans she had named Sony and Bean. Hanji grows a bond with the two titans, despite them being the very enemy they desire to eradicate. Eren is even surprised by the affection she shows towards her test subjects. Her reasoning for behaving like this is because she desires to look at the titans from a different perspective, rather than the cliched mindset of hating them. She genuinely wants to learn about the true nature of the titans. Through her character, we the audience share her desire to learn more about the mystery behind the titans and their origin. After meeting several different members of the Survey Corps, Eren concludes that he hasn't ceased to be amazed by each of them. This division of the military is full of eccentrics who desire to change the status quo. This description of the group is an excellent form of foreshadowing which aligns with the subsequent actions of the Survey Corps, as they dare to dream of a future where humanity has reclaimed its rightful place in the world. After we learn that Hanji's research subjects have been killed, we get the first hints of a traitor who has infiltrated the military ranks. This idea is further enforced by Commander Erwin, who leans in to ask Erwin what he can see, and more importantly, who he thinks the true enemy is. From his shocked expression, you can assume that Eren is considering the possibility of one or if not more traitors who have been hiding under their noses, possibly sabotaging their efforts from the inside. This moment is one that I constantly remembered and did not forget, despite Erwin quickly retracting his questioning and advising Eren to forget he had asked him anything. After inspecting the maneuvering gear of all of these soldiers, they were unable to find the culprit who killed the valuable research subjects. Following this, we see the recruitment ceremony for the Survey Corps as Erwin tries to rally up newly graduated soldiers to join the most dangerous division within the military. A character who quite notably changes their mind about joining the Survey Corps is Jean. He was deeply affected by the death of his fellow cadet Marco. This change of heart adds a new layer of complexity to Jean's character, as he isn't as arrogant or self-centered as his first impression would lead you to believe. He understands Eren's words now, but still admits that he cannot be a reckless idiot like him. In a surprising yet emotional turn of events, Jean changes his mind about where he wants to enlist. He does so after remembering Marco describing Jean as not being particularly strong, but he excels at being able to objectively look at any given situation, allowing him to always make the right choice as to what needs to be done at that moment in time. Jean, recalling the words of his departed comrade, tearfully swallows his pride and realizes what he needs to do. Him deciding to join the Survey Corps is such a pivotal moment of growth for his character, redeeming his prior argumentative and dismissive nature, easily making Jean one of my favorite characters to feature within the first season of Attack on Titan. This change of heart showcases the courage and bravery required in the face of overwhelming opposition. Jean can still remain prideful of the fact that nobody convinced him to change his mind. He had made this decision of his own accord. While recruiting soldiers to join the Survey Corps, Erwin explains the narrative goal to return to Shiganshina and to learn of the secrets of the Titans titans located in the basement of Eren's home. Getting to that basement is the ultimate desire for the Survey Corps led by Erwin, as it may lead to clues that will aid humanity in their conquest to defeat the titans. After giving them hope, he relays to the rookies the grim reality of the casualties within his division, as 60% of the Survey Corps were wiped out in the last 4 years alone. The 57th expedition outside the walls would take place only a month after their recruitment, with an expected mortality rate of 30%. It is Erwin's responsibility to share the grim reality of working under him. He morally does the right thing by choosing not to deceive them with fanciful words of hope, further adding to the character of Eren as a respectable, no-nonsense leader. The only soldiers willing to offer up their lives for mankind are surprisingly the top 10 graduates, with the exception of Annie, who stays unwavered and remains true to her desire to join the military police. I've always loved the anime adaptation of this scene, as the music, voice acting and visuals combine to improve upon the source material. It really makes you feel the weight of this decision that the young cadets are about to make, especially after everything that they've endured during the Battle of Trost. We can sympathize with them and their apprehension. Seeing them suppress their fears and show bravery in the face of adversity leaves me feeling so attached to this group of characters. We repeatedly get shown the physical gore and the fear of facing the titans against one's will, but this group of characters mentally undergo fear, doubt and anxiety in order to make the decision to once again face their fears and fight for the sake of humanity. After a month of training and studying, the 57th expedition of the Survey Corps begins, with the true objective of the mission only being known by Erwin. Jean and the others put their faith in Eren, counting on him to ensure his powers are worth the cost of their lives. The officially disclosed aim for this expedition was to plan a new route from the Kalaneth district to the Shiganshina district. However, like I had mentioned, Erwin only revealed the true motive for this mission to his most trusted veteran scouts, those who had been enlisted as scouts at least 5 years ago and had survived the fall of Wall Maria. For this expedition, Erwin deploys a strategic formation called the Long Distance Enemy Scouting Formation. In preparation for this mission, the scouts had been taught about this formation in great detail over the last month. The purpose of this formation is to protect Eren at all costs, placing utmost importance on their new weapon to fight against the Titans. Thanks to the deployment of this formation in past expeditions, the survival rate of the Survey Corps has increased drastically. The soldiers are spread out over a long distance in a semicircular formation in front, with equal spacing between each other so that they can see in all directions. Eren is located in the central rear of the formation, accompanied by the Special Operations Squad. He is placed in the safest spot. The scouts located at the outer perimeter of the formation are responsible for alerting the others if they are to come across a Titan approaching them by firing a red flare. Others within the formation will fire their own flares so that Erwin, who is leading from the front, will quickly know the location of the Titan and fire a green flare signaling a change in direction. This strategy allows the scouts to travel towards their destination while avoiding contact with the Titans, because most ordinary Titans cannot keep up with the speed of horses. This system is most effective against traditional Titans whose actions are easier to predict, but it is harder to deploy against abnormal Titans whose unpredictable behavior will leave the scouts with no other choice but to fight against them. Initially believing it to be an abnormal Titan, we are introduced to the intelligent female Titan, who Armin immediately deduces is a human in the body of a Titan, drawing parallels to it with Eren's Titan form, the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan. The intelligence and sickening hostility of this new Titan is demonstrated through how it takes out 2 scouts and the right flank of the Survey Corps formation. Armin was able to deduce that this Titan was different through how it had protected its vital organs and didn't kill humans to consume them like ordinary Titans do. When the female Titan had caught up to Armin and lifts up his hood to identify him, she spares his life. We can now assume that the female Titan is looking for someone. Reiner and Jan eventually catch up to Armin as he explains to them that the female Titan is being controlled by someone. This is a haunting thought, thinking about a human working against the best interests of their own kind. Whoever is controlling the female Titan has betrayed humanity and is purposefully sabotaging this scouting mission. But for what reason? We know that the Colossal and Armored Titan aim to destroy the walls. However, the female Titan's motive is unknown until after she encounters Jan, Reiner and Armin. She ends up running towards the direction of Eren after Reiner manages to free himself from her grasp. With the appearance of the female Titan, there is an assumption that the mission will be called off only 1 hour after it had begun. However, it appears that Commander Erwin has no intention of returning just yet. Squad Levi in the central rear are made aware of the casualties that have been sustained thus far and realize that an abnormal Titan has penetrated their formation. The other scouts engage the human-controlled Titan trying to stop it, but it covers its nape with its hand, protecting its only weakness. Erwin appears to be leading the scouts into the Titan forest, allowing only the central column of the formation to enter the forest with him. We are left to wonder what on earth he is planning planning on doing, and isn't he aware of the casualties that they have already sustained? There is much confusion as to why Erwin did not avoid the forest, but this is of course part of his secretive plan. Squad Levi also enters the forest, as Eren is the only one among them to doubt what they are doing. Fearing that the Titan who has infiltrated their formation is closing in on them, Levi is the only one composed, as it isn't just Eren who is confused about what they are doing. The other members of the Special Operations Squad are just as perplexed as Eren. It is surprising to see the scouts that Levi had handpicked express emotions of nervousness, apprehension, and general worry. They are the seasoned veterans who should be instilling faith into Eren, but his doubts are being affirmed by their expressions. This feeling of doubt is seen amongst the other scouts, as Jean too questions how their orders are now diverting from the mission brief that they were given. The scouts have no choice but to follow the orders, even if they make no sense to them. The female Titan catches up to Eren and the others. They plead with Levi to switch to their maneuvering gear as Annie takes out the scouts who are attacking her, trying to slow her down. What must be noted during this moment are the expressions of desperation from Eren and the others. Only their leader Levi remains focused on the orders given to him by Erwin. He retains his uninterested, callous expression as he ignores the pleas of his subordinates to engage in battle with the female Titan. Levi retains his composure and appears to know something that the others don't. Ignoring Squad Levi, he fires a sound grenade with the female Titan hot on their heels. Why I love Levi's character is his unparalleled focus and his determination to fulfill his duty, allowing no room for distraction. He momentarily reprimands his subordinates, reminding them that their job is not to give in to whatever emotion that they are feeling at the present moment in time. The mission briefing clearly states that Squad Levi is to protect Eren at all costs, even at the cost of their own lives. With the female Titan quickly closing the distance, Eren looks back at the Titan killing several scouts, ignoring Levi's order to depend upon their horses and focus on moving forward. He cannot bear to see people being sacrificed before his eyes. This is the cruel truth that Levi and Erwin are all too aware of, the fact that not everybody who sets out on these expeditions will return alive. The sacrifices of a few will lead to the survival of many. Eren is ordered to continue on his path and not to help those who are dying behind him. They are not to divert from the mission's objective. Eren is behaving very naively here. He is acting like he is the only one feeling pain or suffering, knowing the people are dying at the hands of the female Titan. The others are also feeling anguish hearing their comrades die behind them, but they grit their teeth and move forward, trusting in Levi and more importantly putting their faith in Erwin's plan. Eren wants an explanation as to why they are leaving their comrades to die, but the others remind him that Levi purposefully didn't explain the reasoning behind their actions. Because Eren is still wet around the ears, he cannot understand what it means to put faith in your superior and to blindly trust and obey them. Before the expedition, Eren was having difficulty voluntarily transforming into his Titan form. He noted that this didn't make Squad Levi waver in their resolve to reclaim Wall Maria, however. When Eren transforms into a Titan involuntarily, trying to pick up a spoon that he had dropped, he incurs the wrath of Squad Levi, who assume that he is a traitor. They wonder why now of all places has he decided to transform. At this moment, Eren had realized how little they had trusted him, believing that they consider him to be the mortal enemy of humanity. Levi reassures Eren by explaining to him his squad have seen and lived through hell several times. Each time they have survived and demonstrated they can act quickly against an enemy they know very little about. They turned on Eren and pointed their blades at him, unwavering in their resolve, not allowing their emotions to get the better of them. Through quickly responding to Eren's transformation, they demonstrated both their maturity and experience that they have had on the battlefield. Eventually, we learn through Hanji's explanation to Eren and the others that he needs a reason to transform into his Titan form. This is why he transformed out of the blue, picking up his spoon. His wounds were fresh from his failed attempts, so the first time that he acted with an intention, he immediately transformed against his will. This is when Squad Levi realized that Eren did not mean to transform without permission. It wasn't in his control. After this, they all bite the palm of their hands, trying to experience the same pain that Eren does every time he transforms. They do this as a form of punishment for questioning and doubting Eren's allegiance. It is a touching moment and it emphasizes the camaraderie that exists between this newly introduced tight-knit group. Petra tells Eren the ethos of their squad, which is nothing can be accomplished alone, so it is better to work together as a group. This way, they are counting on Eren and in return hope that he can count on them too. This flashback is pivotal to reminding Eren that he cannot just turn into a Titan and go against the orders of Erwin. He needs to trust that the Survey Corps are doing the right thing. Levi tells him that he has two choices. Either he transforms into his Titan form, choosing to believe in himself, or he decides to believe in Levi, his squad, and the rest of the Survey Corps by continuing to move forward. Will he ultimately trust in his own strength or in the decisions made by his experienced senior comrades? Levi knows that in high pressure situations he cannot impose his will onto Eren. Ultimately, he is going to do whatever he wants to do. However, he gives him the choice to decide on what action will make him him feel the least amount of regret. He demonstrates to him the very trust that he wants Eren to have for him and the others. In the end, Eren decides to trust them. With the female titan now speeding up, he realizes that they are galloping ahead with their backs turned to their enemy. Their situation is looking more and more bleak, as they could be flattened at any moment. But despite this, they continue to move forward, focusing their gaze straight ahead, putting their lives on the line for the sake of their orders. Their blind faith is proven right as they capture and immobilize the female titan through a trap that has been prepared in advance for her. Levi tells his squad to get Eren away from the titan, as he leaves them to complete another task that has been assigned to him. We learn that it was up to squad Levi to lure the female titan to this spot. Levi is praised for his actions, but he humbly gives credit to those who sacrificed their lives trying to hold back the female titan before she had caught up to them. All that is left to do now is to find out who is controlling the titan. Eren had suspected that there was somebody among their ranks who was trying to destroy the walls. Jean and Armin were able to deduce the true intentions of the mission. Thanks to the revelation of Eren's titan form, we can assume that a human is controlling the other titans that are destroying the walls. So the best course of action will be to capture at least one of the traitors, to learn about their intentions and the identity of the others. Despite the burden of casualties and the deaths of several scouts, it was vital to stay the course and continue with this mission. The Survey Corps have a real opportunity to finally be able to learn about the truth of the world by capturing the female titan, through using Eren as bait. An important discussion of one's humanity occurs here, as Armin places emphasis upon the difficult choices that Commander Eren has to make, the price of sacrificing hundreds in order to save humanity as a whole. There is a reason why Eren is the leader of the Survey Corps. He leads soldiers who wear the wings of freedom on their backs. The hopes of mankind rest upon his shoulders. For him to carry this burden and consider enacting change in a cruel world, he must be able to cast aside his humanity as a prerequisite. That is, if he truly desires to bring about a real change in the world. When up against cruel and overwhelming opposition, it should be noted how one may forsaken even their own humanity in order to defeat monsters, ironically adopting traits of the very force of evil that you are fighting against. While the female titan is captured, the scouts try to attack its nape, but realize that it has an ability to harden its own skin, rendering their attacks useless. Levi taunts her and for once expresses his feelings about how she had been enjoying murdering his subordinates. He tells the female titan that he is going to enjoy torturing her and dragging out the person that is controlling this titan by force. The female titan then demonstrates a new ability as it shrieks, causing the ordinary titans to rush towards a location. Sasha describes this scream as being similar to that of an animal who happens to be cornered and is given up, so as a last resort it summons the help of others. The titans end up eating the female titan, and during the chaos, the person controlling it has escaped. Erwin smiles as he acknowledges that his enemy like them was also willing to sacrifice everything in order to escape. Eren and the other scouts retreat, assuming that the female titan is still active. Levi decides to catch up to his squad, but is stopped by Erwin, who orders him to replenish his gas and blades. Levi, who is concerned for his squad, says that he has enough gas and blades, but Erwin insists that he follows his orders, as Levi is left to once again trust in Erwin's judgment. This decision to delay Levi will prove to be costly. However, Erwin had his reasons for giving Levi these orders, as he had assumed that the person who was controlling the female titan may be equipped with their maneuvering gear and their uniform, meaning that she can blend in with the other soldiers. This of course proves to be true, as the assailant begins to pick off members of Squad Levi. Gunther is the first to fall victim. Adding to the panic, the individual once again transforms into the female titan. The remaining members of Squad Levi fight against the titan so that Eren can escape. However, he once again begs them to allow him to transform into his titan form and fight back, but he is told to believe in them and not to underestimate them. Eren is reassured by the strength of Squad Levi as he sees firsthand their talent and tenacity, while they launch an effective counterattack against the female titan. However, she ends up outsmarting them as she mercilessly picks off the remaining members of Squad Levi. This happens just as Eren understands the concept of entrusting your allies. He is quickly betrayed by this belief as he tries to move forward without looking back. He is reminded of Levi's words that you can never be certain of the outcome. In this moment, if Eren had relied on his own strength, then he would have been able to prevent the deaths of his comrades. With the regret of making the wrong choice weighing heavy on his conscience, he finally transforms, vowing to kill the female titan. This is a turning point for Eren's character. Just when he had opened up to the idea of believing in his comrades, it had led to their deaths. Eren has learned and reinforced the belief that he can only rely upon himself now. If he doesn't take action himself, then it will only lead to him having regrets. Remember, moments ago, Levi had told him to take the course of action which will lead to him feeling the least amount of regret. During the first battle, Eren proves how unrefined his control over his titan form is. In addition to this, his emotional state is causing him to attack recklessly. The female titan easily evades his strikes and uses his titan strength to her advantage. village. Levi and Mikasa hear Eren's Titan and rush to his aid, as he is being beaten by the female Titan. Eren's Titan has brute strength, but he lacks the experience and technique that his opponent possesses. This leads to him landing a few lucky shots, but overall he is no match against the agile female Titan, as she forcibly rips him out of his Titan form, successfully having captured him. Mikasa arrives just as Eren is taken out. Her attachment to Eren causes her to be overwhelmed with emotion as she releases a continuous barrage of attacks. However, they appear to be ineffective due to the female Titan's ability to reinforce her skin. Levi, who is also making his way towards Eren, discovers the corpses of his hand-picked special operations squad. This moment, which is void of any dialogue, is one of the most hard-hitting scenes in the entire series. He makes his way over to each of his comrades, seeing their dismembered, impaled, and contorted remains. He concludes his unique form of paying respect to his squad by gazing upon the corpse of Petra. These are people that he had intimately known. He had fought alongside them in battle, and he had built a close bond with each of them. Levi is a complex and often misunderstood character. His emotionless expression conceals the overwhelming sorrow he is feeling, which he all too often channels into his battles. Each of his comrades had hopes, dreams, and loved ones who were expecting them to return home safely. They were under the care of Levi, who had a responsibility to take care of them, and it is moments like this that are heart-wrenching. Attack on Titan plays a constant tug-of-war between emotions of hope and hopelessness. Levi demonstrates his strength by silently moving forward after acknowledging the deaths of his squad. With matters involving Eren, Mikasa quickly loses her composure, clearly shown by her desperate, frantic behavior against the female Titan. She is forced to stop by Levi, who had kept his calm even after seeing the corpses of 4 of his comrades. Mikasa, on the other hand, is filled with emotion despite Eren still being alive. This creates an interesting contrast between the two characters who share the same surname and possess the same skillful talent in battle. At this point of the story, we are aware of the female Titan's objective, which is to kidnap Eren, so it is left to the very capable hands of Levi and Mikasa to retrieve him. Levi attacks the female target before she even has a chance to harden her skin. After grounding her, Mikasa diverts from the plan and decides to strike her nape, wanting to kill her opponent. She disobeys Levi's orders to forget trying to kill the female Titan and to focus on retrieving Eren. Levi ends up breaking his ankle while trying to protect Mikasa, but despite this, he pushes forward and ends up successfully saving Eren. While making their escape, Levi turns around to get a final glance at the utterly defeated female Titan. He notices that tears are running down the Titan's face. It is a strange sight to see emotions emanating from a being who cruelly slaughtered so many innocent people. The tears highlight the emotional response of the person controlling the Titan. For whatever reason, they are deeply affected by not being able to capture Eren. The mission to capture the female Titan was a colossal failure, to say the least. They return facing harsh criticism from the gathered members of the public. Eren and Mikasa see 2 impressionable children watching the scouts, with the same bright-eyed admiration that they had as children upon seeing the scouts return from an expedition. Unlike adults, the children are able to overlook their somber and defeated expressions. To them, the Survey Corps are cool because they always get back up and continue fighting in the face of constant defeat. In this moment, the reality of the Survey Corps is emphasized against the naive admiration of children. As we see Petra's father arrive to ask Levi about his daughter, he asks about her future and how he is proud that she was taken under his wing. Levi, who rarely shows emotion, is seen to express guilt and utter shock at the prospect of relaying the news of Petra's death to her father. Levi's expression speaks volumes, as we come to realize the extent of the sacrifice and what it had amounted to, which was nothing. Eren is responsible for these casualties. He has the burden of their deaths on his conscience. Because of the 57th scouting mission, it had led in the public losing the faith and support that they had in the Survey Corps. Eren and the others were summoned to the royal capital to take responsibility for this failure. Another consequence of this mission was that Eren was ordered to be handed over to the military police. The Survey Corps members were escorted through the Stohes district by the new military police recruits. Of course, Annie was among the new recruits assigned to escort them to the capital. While heading out, Annie is called over by a cloaked Armin, who asks for her assistance to rescue Eren. She initially declines, but Armin pleads with her, as she eventually agrees to help him and Mikasa to escape the city with Eren. While she escorts them, she expresses her doubts about their plan, but Armin reassures her. Suddenly, Annie stops following them as the group make their way down a stairway, as they were about to take an underground route, and it is at this moment that an intense confrontation with Annie occurs, as Eren demands that she follows them after hearing her make excuses about going underground. The facade quickly drops as Annie reveals her true colors. Armin's suspicions of her being the female Titan are actualized before their eyes. She had made several blunders which led to her identity being exposed. Armin had noted that Annie had used Marco's maneuvering gear when the inspection to identify who had killed the 2 Titan test subjects flashbacks occurred. However, Armin had felt denial upon noticing this. Why would you suspect your comrade to betray you after you had spent 3 years training alongside them? He didn't want to question his ally, but his suspicions of Annie being a traitor were confirmed when she spared his life during the 57th expedition. Eren is hit hard by her betrayal, as he is in denial even up until this point, despite the overwhelming evidence against her. He asks her to prove her innocence by coming underground with them, but she refuses to entertain his notion that she is playing a prank on them. Armin even pleads with her to talk this over with them, but Mikasa on the other hand shows Annie no remorse as she draws her blade. She remembers all too well what the female titan had done to Eren. Now that her cover is blown, an attempt is made to capture her, but she uses a ring to cut herself and transform into the female titan in the Stohes district. They weren't able to ambush and capture Annie, so they carry out their alternative plan, which is to capture her. They intend to have Eren transform into his titan form for assistance, but that proves easier said than done. He tries to transform, but he isn't able to. Mikasa knows precisely why. This is because he is reluctant to fight against his so-called former comrade. Eren's denial and hesitation is holding him back. Understandably, coming to realize that someone who he momentarily had grown up with and trained alongside is in fact an enemy of humanity. She was hiding under his nose this entire time. While Eren tries to convince himself that she isn't the female titan, Mikasa tactfully reminds him that she was the one who had killed Squad Levi. He should be channeling his anger in order to transform and avenge his fallen comrades, instead of refusing to accept reality. The idealist Eren is made to come to terms with reality here. Not everybody will match your ideal interpretation of the world. He had expected his allies to work alongside him to defeat the enemy. He didn't expect one of his allies to actually be the enemy. His failure to comprehend this at the nth hour speaks volumes about Eren's mindset and the trust that he had for Annie. When Eren had first learnt about the identity of the female titan, he was informed by Erwin about the plan to capture Annie. The proof that Annie is the female titan is highly presumptuous. Eren had questioned Armin, even going as far as to ask him what he will do if she isn't a traitor. Mikasa, who is the voice of reason, tells him to recall his battle with the female titan, asking if he is able to draw parallels between the fighting style of the female titan and Annie's style of fighting. It wasn't a coincidence that Isayama had written a sparring scene between Eren and Annie during their training. This plot twist of Annie being the female titan had gradually been building up, as he subtly planted the seeds of doubt into her mind and masterfully peeled back each layer to reveal her hidden agenda. Now that she has transformed before Eren's eyes, he should have no doubt that she is his enemy. He has no choice but to fight her. While Eren hesitates, Mikasa and Armin spring to action as they decide to act as decoys for Eren. He asks them how are they able to fight right now. They were deceived by an ally too. Don't they feel any pain after having been betrayed? Mikasa snaps Eren out of feeling hesitation by reminding him that the world is a cruel place. What else can they do other than fight back against the traitor? Once you accept the reality of the world, only then can you be unaffected by the blows it deals to you. While watching his friends risk their lives, Eren affirms to himself that the world is indeed cruel. With his resolve to fight renewed, he finally transforms into his titan form. As his rematch with the female titan commences, he demonstrates how far he has come from their first encounter by landing a clean uppercut against Annie, sending her flying across the city. The anime adaptation of this fight has a longer, more drawn out battle between the two titans. However, in the manga, Annie makes a beeline straight towards Wall Shina, planning her escape by climbing over the wall. Mikasa is among the scouts who try to slow down Annie because she feels personally responsible for Levi being sidelined due to her impulsive behavior in the Titan Forest. Eren meanwhile proves that he has control over his Titan form by pursuing Annie. While exchanging blows with her, he shares some insightful thoughts about her. He recalls that Annie was always reserved and had preferred being a loner during their training years that they had spent together. Through the expression that she had on her face, you could tell that she did not think highly of those around her. It was like she didn't want to be there. She appeared to be bored. Eren does note that Annie had shown a different side to herself when she had engaged in hand-to-hand combat, despite her claiming that she had no interest in it. We know that she had dismissed her passion for fighting by referring to it as a skill that her father had forced her to learn. The conviction in her words did not match up with the visible enjoyment she seemed to be having while she utilized those very skills she tried to renounce. Eren notes this and concludes that she was only lying to herself. So we have to question, what is it that Annie desires? What is she fighting for that makes it worthwhile to take the lives of so many innocent people? After a powerful sweeping kick to the face, Eren is grounded as Annie desperately scales Wall Shina. Mikasa on the other hand isn't going to let her get away for a second time as she cuts off the female titan's sharp talon-shaped fingers. Annie helplessly falls to her defeat as she recalls the final words she heard from her father before departing from her home. It is revealed that Annie had desired to return home, where her remorseful father resides. We learn that he had regretted putting her through harsh training while she was young, robbing her of her childhood. Her father then reassures her that he would always be on her side. Even if the world had turned against her, he would be there to support her. His final request was to have Annie promise to him that she would return home safely. With this promise in mind, she protects herself from the scouts who are pulling her body out of the Titan by cocooning her body in a crystallized structure. In the end, Annie was unable to be interrogated, so the Survey Corps had taken her body underground to prevent her from transforming into a Titan, in the event that she is freed from this crystallized structure that she had made. They are also acquitted of their shortcomings during the 57th expedition, as they reveal that they concealed the details of the mission due to concerns about Annie having accomplices within the military police. Capturing Annie proved to be a significant victory for mankind. Although they cannot interrogate her, they have proven that enemies working against the efforts of humanity exist within their ranks. Season 1 of Attack on Titan concludes with a cliffhanger, revealing that a Titan has been found concealed within Wall Sina, and this is where the female Titan arc ends. The final episode of Attack on Titan Season 1 aired on the 29th of September 2013. With the popularity of this series reaching new heights and Attack on Titan practically becoming mainstream, why was it that the anime had disappeared from our screens for almost 4 years? There are several reasons to explain the long wait. Firstly, Wit Studio, the animation studio behind Attack on Titan, had worked on 5 other series between the time Season 1 concluded and Season 2 had aired. The hectic work schedule of the animation studio aside, the primary reason I believe the 4-year hiatus occurred was simply because there was little to no material to adapt from the manga. With the conclusion of Season 1, material up to Chapter 34 had been adapted. Chapter 49 of the manga was published the same month the final episode of Season 1 had aired. There were only 14 chapters of buffer space between the anime and the manga at this point. Season 1 had adapted 34 chapters into 25 episodes. So at this pace, if the Attack on Titan anime had continued, it would have caught up to the manga after airing only 10 episodes. The key difference between the anime and the manga of Attack on Titan is that the manga publishes a new chapter once a month, while the anime releases a new episode once a week. The delay, although necessary, came at a cost, as the general sentiment towards the series had died down by the time 2017 had rolled around. Attack on Titan Season 2 was finally announced on the 24th of December 2016, with the first episode ironically scheduled to air on the 1st of April 2017. Although the second season would only be back for 12 episodes, through the trailer our patience was rewarded, as we were teased about several enticing plot threads which would make the 4-year wait feel worthwhile. The trailer showcases Wall Rose being breached by Titans. We have the reveal of the menacing Beast Titan, and of course the return of the Colossal and Armored Titans. The trailer concludes with Eren attacking the Armored Titan. With jokes about the Beast Titan kicking a horse into another dimension, the hype surrounding Attack on Titan was well and truly back. I will be going over all of the events of Season 2 in my 5th video, which will cover the Clash of the Titans arc. So I hope you all subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss the next video in my Attack on Titan arc analysis series. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, then please consider supporting my channel on Patreon. I have multiple tiers with rewards including access to an exclusive Discord server, video scripts, as well as being the first to know about unreleased upcoming videos. Thank you for your time, and whatever you choose to contribute I will appreciate, and it will mean a lot to me.